Welcome to Diabetes Hope Channel, the channel where we educate you, motivate you, and encourage you to control your diabetes and probably reverse it. This is the place where you find hope. I am your host, Wajiko Dongo. Today, dear viewers, we have a visitor. Our visitor, welcome to the show.
Thank you. My name is Silas, and Silas Otieno, and I'm glad to be here. I am a pastor. I have served in Kahawa West Baptist Church as a pastor for 5 years, and I thank God to be here.
Thank you, Silas. Dear viewers, I have known Silas for the last 10 years. The next thing I hear, he is diabetic. Silas, what happened? Now, can you please tell our viewers, when were you diagnosed with diabetes?
I was diagnosed with diabetes on the 15th of January. That was 2021 this year. Yeah, 15th January 2021 this year.
Now, where were you diagnosed?
I went to the first hospital was Uhai Neema in Kasarani.
Okay.
And then I later on, in a week's time, went for a second check at Equity Afya.
Okay.
Yes, that's when they confirmed that it was indeed diabetes.
Now, let me ask you, that very first moment when the doctor looked at you and told you you are diabetic, how did you feel?
Oh, I felt really bad. I felt like the whole world was crumbling down.
Yes.
I felt like my time to die we have gotten to the time where I'm going to die. So I just felt really bad. I felt like the whole world was coming down.
But really, why did you think about death? You are so young.
Yes, and I think part of the reasons why I felt like the world was coming down is because I have been going to the gym, I have been doing a lot of exercise, but yet I go to the hospital and I'm diagnosed with diabetes.
No, so you couldn't have guessed it at all?
At all.
But what made you to go to hospital? Because you didn't just wake up and decide, I'm going to visit the hospital. So what really pushed you to go to the hospital?
I used to feel a lot of thirstiness. I would get tired at some point. I would frequently visit the washrooms for short calls that were very pressing at that time. And I wondered what that was. I didn't know about diabetes because we don't have anyone in our family with diabetes. So I just decided to go get checked.
So when you are told you have diabetes, you are the first person you knew who has been diagnosed with diabetes in your family?
Yes, we don't. In fact, before they even told me that it's diabetes, they constantly kept asking as I was going for the tests.
Yes.
Do I have a history of diabetes in the family?
Okay.
And so I was the first.
I must say that even me, when you told me you are diabetic, I was quite shocked because my question was, you were not born in Kikuyurad. That is where we are so used to people with diabetes. Maybe you can tell your viewers, where were you born?
From Kisumu in Ugenya.
Yes.
That's where I come from.
Yes.
And that's where I was born. So not in Central.
Now, in Kisumu, is it common to find people with diabetes?
Not at all.
Not at all.
It's not common. In fact, in my family, I don't know anyone who is diabetic.
And how then did you get into this?
That's what was shocking to me when the news was broken. Yeah.
But I can tell our dear viewers, because I know you have a Kikuyu friend.
Yes. My wife is Kikuyu.
Can I guess she must have introduced you to potatoes?
A lot of potatoes. A lot of everything we cook has potatoes, must have some touch of potatoes.
Wow. You didn't know. You know, I always tell our viewers, we Kikuyus, before we cook, we first peel potatoes. And then we ask, what are we cooking? So really, how did you get to eat potatoes?
I just kind of got used to it because sometimes you have no control over what happens in the kitchen. So you'll eat whatever is brought to the table.
Now, let's visit where you come from. Generally, what did your mother give you?
We ate a lot of ugali and fish.
What kind of ugali did you eat?
We did the brown one, and if we did the white ugali,
Yes.
it was the one that you take to the, what do we call it?
To the
millers.
posho meal.
Yes, to the posho meal. Yes.
Okay.
That's what we used to do.
Okay. And then you came to Nairobi and you got urbanized.
Yes.
Well,
but even here in Nairobi,
yes,
in my mother's house, that was a diet.
that was the diet.
We would do the posho meal ugali.
Yes.
We would do a lot of vegetables
Okay.
and fish.
Yes.
Fish, a lot of fish.
Okay.
Especially the small daga, the omena.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. So now, when you got married, did your wife know how to cook omena?
She learned. She had to learn.
Yes.
Because it's kind of one of my favorite.
Okay.
So she learned. Yes, now she knows how to cook.
Okay.
She cooks it well.
But within that time before you were diagnosed, what were the meals like? For example, what did you eat for breakfast? What did you eat for lunch? What did you eat for supper?
Now when I look in retrospect, I had a very bad eating culture. I would wake up in the morning. I can do samosa, 2 samosas, a sausage, 3 slices of bread, tea with a lot of sugar.
How many spoons?
2-3 spoons. During lunch, I would go to the office, get tea, more sugar,
Yes.
buy mandazis. Lunchtime sometimes, especially when it's Tuesday, get a pizza,
Okay.
a large pizza, Del Monte juice in the office.
Wow.
In the evening, get a cup of tea, go back home, do chapati and some meat. And then a lot of watermelons
Okay.
and all that, yes.
Now, dear viewers, you can hear Silas was very well fed. Sugar was a very, very close friend.
Yes.
But now, when you took all these sugars, did it ever occur to you that it has a health implication?
Not at all.
Yeah.
In fact, I enjoyed it.
Yes.
Something about these foods, they are just really enjoyable.
Yes.
The breads, the samosas. I don't think anyone would mind them. They are very enjoyable. I wouldn't complain eating them every day.
I know.
But I didn't know
Yeah.
the path that I was actually walking.
You know, I remember visiting you in the office after a sermon, and there you are enjoying a soda, and I'm looking at you like, yeah, I wish I can join you, but I know better.
Yeah, sodas were a lot in the office. Sodas
Yes.
were a lot in the office.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, when you were diagnosed, did you have an idea that actually that kind of diet you were eating or that kind of food you were eating has a relationship with the disease?
I didn't know at first. I thought that since I go to the gym, since I work out, since I do a lot of exercise, I didn't really think much about it until now when I was diagnosed with diabetes and you try to figure out what to eat. So at the moment when I was doing that, I thought as long as I go to the gym, I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to get back to that moment when you are diagnosed. You are sitting down. This is the doctor telling you, Silas, you have diabetes. Did you lose a bit?
I was shocked.
Yes.
I was really shocked because of all the diseases maybe someone would get. Diabetes was the least of the disease that I would expect to be diagnosed with.
Okay.
So I was really shocked, and that's why I went for a second opinion, because I thought maybe that
He's
doctor
lost.
did not know what they were saying.
Now, let me ask you, okay, that same time when you went home, how did you react?
After I got from the doctor, because the doctor just told me I'm diabetic, showed me a chart with someone with stroke, an amputated leg, blindness, and he told me an eventual death. He told me that is what I'm looking at if I don't change the way I eat. So he kind of scared me. So I left his office,
Yes.
went to the parking lot and stayed there for around 2 hours without leaving. Just taking the news in. I made so many calls. I called so many people to tell them
Goodbye.
I was dying. Yes, that's it.
Well, in your position, I think I would really feel the same.
Yeah.
Because when you imagine of all the individuals that you hear that they have amputated legs, people cannot see, it is like, oh my God, what do I do?
Yeah.
So you are in the parking lot.
Yeah.
What happens next?
So I called guys, encouraged me. Some told me it was manageable. Others told me, because I called many people, they were more than 20.
Anybody who said goodbye?
None of them. Many of them were just giving me a history that they're just telling me that they know someone who has managed it.
Yes.
So it was more of you can manage this thing. But then to me it had not sunk that I can manage it. So I stayed there.
Okay. So for all the people that you called, who are many, everybody talked about management.
Yeah.
Did anybody within that period of time ever tell you can reverse this disease?
Not at all. In fact, the language I got is that this is something you stay with for the rest of your life, and then you just manage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're walking home to your wife, a sick man, to manage a disease.
During COVID.
Oh my God, that's even worse.
Pre-existing medical condition.
And now you are actually seeing that if you meet with somebody with COVID, you are gone.
You're gone.
So how did you break the news to your wife?
She was kind of the first person I talked to.
Yes.
Because I gave her a call.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, okay, the news you've gotten, we shall manage." When we met face to face, I looked at her, looked at my kids, and I was very discouraged that day, and not even discouraged. I was very confused. I didn't know what would come. I didn't know what to expect, and I was very green on that matter.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now you sleep and you decide to have a second opinion.
Yes.
And you move on to the next hospital.
Yes.
What happened?
I go to the next hospital. First I went, I think after 2 days, and then they told me to go the next day. The next day was on a Sunday.
Okay.
So I went to church, and they told me not to eat anything when I go, so that they can do a fasting glucose test.
Okay.
So I didn't eat supper that previous night, and in the morning I didn't take anything.
Okay.
So when I went to church and preached, and then went to the hospital, they took the test, and I was at 12.
What?
Yes.
And you haven't eaten the night before?
Yes.
You haven't eaten breakfast?
Yeah.
You have delivered a sermon?
Yes.
And it's at 12?
And it's at 12. And the doctor told me it is true, you are diabetic. Yeah.
Your fears were confirmed.
They were confirmed, and it was even worse than the first one. When now it came out, it was worse than the first
Worse in terms of numbers, or in terms of how you felt?
In terms of how I felt.
Yes.
Because
you were still having some hopes that actually it will not be.
I was hoping they were, Nema was wrong.
Did you pray?
Yes, I did.
What were you telling God?
I don't know what is going to happen, but
Yeah.
I hope it's not true. I hope the person who did the test made a mistake. I hope they had given me somebody else's tests. But when I came and confirmed, and I was hungry. I have delivered a sermon, and I have not taken anything. So I'm very hungry. So when that news is being delivered, and the doctor is telling you that your sugars are very high, yet you've not taken anything from the previous night, then that was difficult for me.
Wow. Now, with the second doctor, were you given a treatment plan?
With the first doctor, yes, I was given a treatment plan.
Okay.
In fact, the second one just told me to continue with what I was taking. I was given glucophage 500 mg.
Okay.
And I was told to take it in the morning and in the evening, and that should lower my sugars.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you went and bought the drugs, or they gave it to you?
They gave me the drugs in the hospital,
Okay.
but I didn't use it because the doctor had told me don't use anything.
Okay.
Don't even use a meal. So I wanted to get tested without having used a drug, because maybe if I would have used a drug, maybe the test would have turned out a bit differently.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. So there you are. You get home with your drugs. What happens?
In that confusion, I just take the medicine as prescribed. I don't know what to do. I don't know what the medicine is doing. I'm not feeling any side effects. So I'm just taking medicine, and I don't know whether to eat or not to eat. So it was a confusing time. I remember starving myself because I started fearing food. I didn't know what should get into my mouth. So
Yeah.
I'll just take the medicine and stay. without doing anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did anybody ever tell you that you needed to have a glucometer so that you can be able to test yourself and to be able to understand what levels you are in?
Actually, after getting the drugs and starting to use them, that's when we talked.
Okay.
And that's when we met in the office.
Yes.
And I remember the first glucometer. I saw you with several glucometers. They were like
You want
4.
to tell me in hospital you were not told that it is very, very important for you to have a glucometer?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
That's why I was just given glucophage,
Yes.
and that was it. And
Yes.
and given a list of the things I should eat, things I should never eat, things I should eat as much as I want, and things that I should eat in small quantities. So I saw when we talked, when we had a meeting, me, you, and my wife, that's when I first saw the glucometer. That's when I started now getting what I should, how I should be eating. Yeah.
Now, dear viewers, there's one thing that is very important to understand, that diabetes is not just a personal thing, it is a family thing. And for that reason, when Silas came to me, I had actually to ask the wife to come along, because I knew without the support of the wife, it is going to be very difficult for Silas. And this is going to be with every other diabetic that is within families. It is important that we give them support, because it is difficult for a man that is married to manage his diabetes alone. It becomes important for the wife to understand what she can cook and what she cannot cook. And when a man gets that kind of support, it then becomes easy. So for that reason, I asked Silas to come with his wife so that we could be able to talk. One of the things, viewers, I do carry my glucometer around so that when I get such cases, I can be able also to test and to see where the sugars are. And indeed, when I tested Silas, the sugars were still very high. Silas, if I remember, I told you that this is a disease that is not just manageable, it is reversible. Yeah. How did you react to that? What did you feel about that statement, that diabetes is reversible, after all the people you had talked with and everybody was talking about managing?
To be very honest, I didn't believe you.
You thought this is just another sister trying to encourage you.
Yes, I thought these are the normal encouragements that you will overcome.
Yes.
Yeah, so I didn't believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you went home with a big talk, and we also wrote some notes on what you are supposed to do and the strategies you are supposed to use in order to reverse this disease. Maybe you can tell our viewers, what strategies did we discuss?
The strategies were first a complete overhaul in what I ate.
Yes.
I mean, it was a complete change.
Yes.
It was something that I didn't know if I could manage to do, because I had to cut the sugars completely. I had to cut the carbohydrates for that time because my sugars were too high. We had a diet plan on how we should cook, the vegetable juices and all that. Okay. And so I didn't like it. I didn't like the taste. Yeah. I didn't like the cutting on the sugars. Yeah. But we did. Okay. I was very determined to getting my sugars low. And yes, I think I did.
No, I remember the very first time you told me this is impossible.
Yeah.
And what did I tell you when you told me that?
I remember you told me to go and look at my family. Look at my kids and find that motivation from them.
Because indeed, if we have to reverse diabetes, there's a lot of work to be done, and the individual needs motivation. Yeah. And as I've told our viewers, for me, the motivation of actually ensuring I do not have diabetes is because I have seen people whose legs have been amputated, and these are family members. Yeah. I have seen people whose eyes have gone. You talk to somebody you've known for a long time, they can only recognize you by voice, but not through their eyes. That gives me a lot of motivation. I will tell myself, let me take this tea, even if it is sugarless. I think it is better than having my eyes gone or my legs amputated. Yeah. And indeed, viewers, this is what I told Silas. Look at your wife. Look at your kids and ask yourself, Is this what you want? And that was a very great motivation, wasn't it?
It was the only motivation that kept me running.
So Silas, tell us now, finally you go home. What happened?
I cut all the sugars.
Yes.
I get rid of the watermelon. I didn't believe I could do without watermelon, but right now I have not tasted watermelon in a long time. I did away with the carbohydrates. I introduced a lot of vegetables because I eat a lot of vegetables. I lost a lot of weight. So I switched from what I was eating, what I had given you,
Yes.
to doing green vegetables.
Okay. When were you doing the green vegetables?
In the evening.
In the evening,
I would do 3/4 of my plate was maybe skuma.
Okay.
Very well cooked and washed the way you had shown us.
Yes.
I would do beans.
Beans, yes.
I would do, yeah, I remember most of the time we did beans and greens.
And greens.
And
yeah.
greens, yes.
Yes.
So we would just change. Sometimes I would do cabbage, but not so much because again, cabbage still has some little sugars.
Oh, were you testing yourself after the meals?
I was testing myself 1 hour after, 30 minutes after a meal, 1 hour and 2 hours. So I was doing
30 minutes after a meal, 1 hour after a meal, and 2 hours,
and 2
after,
hours
a meal.
after a meal. Yes.
I'm sure you were getting a lot of information.
Yes.
What did this information mean for you?
After I have eaten some food,
Yes.
and I see how my sugars have reacted. Like for example,
Yeah.
I do beans with skuma. And then I see my sugars. At that time, they were also a bit high, but I
Yeah.
would see them at around 8.
At around 8.
That was encouraging because
Yes.
the glucometer has a scale which tells you where you're good, borderline, where it's bad, where the sugars are low. So I would see that I'm at 8, and that would motivate me to continue because it seems like the sugars were going down.
Okay.
Because initially, I took a test and it was 11, 12, but now I'm reading 8, 7.5, and that was to me very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what meal would you take, or did you take at that moment, and it really, really made you feel very bad because the sugars were high?
I remember one day I did white ugali,
Yes.
the one that cooks very quickly.
Yes.
You know that one?
Yes.
I
The
did-
very sifted one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did that one, and I did some meat with some skuma, and it was so sweet. So I took a lot of it,
Yes.
and I looked at my sugars, and I was at 10.9.
What? 10.9. How did you
Yes,
feel?
yes, yes. Good thing with the glucometer, I realized or I noticed that my sugars have gone high. So I was asking myself, what have I introduced that I was not eating,
Yes.
that my sugars have gone high?
Yes.
So I realized this is what I've introduced.
That ugali was the problem.
Yes. So I would go eliminating until a time I reach where I now know what to eat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, what were you having now for breakfast?
Breakfast, I would do boiled egg.
A boiled egg.
Like a small boiled egg.
Okay.
I would do vegetables like skuma,
Okay.
and I would do tea without sugar.
Tea without sugar.
Yes.
That's breakfast.
Yes.
Would you get full?
I would not get full at that time. At the start, I was not eating anything.
Okay.
It was like I'm just taking water. Then during the day, I would go get to the supermarket and get the groundnuts.
Okay. Groundnuts.
I'd keep taking groundnuts, and
Okay.
for some reason, I would feel full.
Yes.
Because I would do the groundnuts slowly by slowly, and I would feel full. We get to lunchtime, maybe I'm in the office. They have cooked some ugali and some vegetables. I'd ask only for the vegetables because I have the groundnuts with me.
Groundnuts, yeah.
So I'll do the groundnuts with the vegetables. When it gets to around 4 there, I would take black coffee without sugar,
Okay.
just a small cup.
Okay.
Then I would go home
Yeah.
and then do vegetables. Yeah.
Okay.
And if it's a fruit, I remember I would just do, let's say, like a small half an orange, or just for the taste and all that. Yeah.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, if I can remember right, that time you looked a bit mighty,
Yes.
Now, what has happened? Because now you don't look as big as you were then.
Then I was very big. When I took the measurement, the body weight, I was at 86.
86?
Yes.
At your height?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was told that I'm overweight.
You are overweight.
Yes. So I was told to bring down my weight significantly. I now weigh 73.
73. Wow,
Yes,
congratulations.
yes.
How did you manage to lose weight when people are really struggling to lose weight?
I think it's all in the diet, because I am a guy who goes to the gym, and I have never lost as much weight as I did when I changed my diet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how did that have a significance on diabetes?
I'm actually out of meds. That was the most surprising thing, because I was diagnosed in January 15th, given medicine, took medicine the whole of January. By the time we were getting to February, I had lost like 8 kgs.
Okay.
And when I look at my sugars, I was getting readings like 6.0, 5.8 in the morning. So when I went to the doctor, he encouraged me to continue taking the medicine. I tried to do without the medicine to see if I can my sugars will still be low, because I was not convinced that the changes were reducing the sugar levels. So when I remember one morning I didn't take the glucophage for 24 hours. And my sugars were 5.8, 6.2. The highest I got was 7.5 after eating. And as I check these readings, I check the chart, it's telling me that you're doing okay.
Within the normal range.
Yes.
How did that feel?
It felt like a relief.
Yes.
Because I thought that my entire life would be a life of glucophage.
Okay.
And to be very honest, I've not used glucophage since.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you used glucophage for how many months?
I used it for weeks.
Weeks?
For weeks.
Wow. How many weeks?
I used it for around 3 weeks, because I remember by the time I was actually convinced that I cannot use the medicine, it was around mid-February. So mid-February, when I started looking at my sugars, and I'm doing the same readings, and they are low. The highest I would go the day that I was a bit scared, I went to 8.5.
Okay.
And it's not that bad after eating.
Yeah, it's not bad. 8.5 is not bad after eating. We give guys up to 10.
Yes.
That is okay.
So that I was scared, but I would maintain 5. There was a time I would do 4.5 and all that. And so I felt that it was safe to get out of the medicine. Okay. I actually surprised the doctor when I went back for a checkup.
You told him that you had
I told him that I've not used the medicine for 2 weeks.
How did he react?
He was not approving of that.
Yeah.
But he told me that my sugars are low.
He told you your sugars are okay. Yes. So now, do you see that everything was about the diet, and diabetes is just about sugars? Are the sugars high? Are the sugars low? And I would say, dear viewers, that one of the things that really helpful is the glucometer. And that is why we say that every person that wants to deal with their diabetes, any person that wants to manage well their diabetes, any person that wants to reverse their diabetes, the first step is to hire Dr. Mike, as we have said in earlier episodes. And Silas hired Dr. Mike, and Dr. Mike was able to guide him to know whether the foods he's eating are right. And actually, by using Dr. Mike, he was safely able to come out of medicines. So for how long have you been out of medicines?
Let's say let's give it up to the end of February.
Yes.
So March, April, May, June, July, August, 6 months.
Wow. 6 months without medicine, and the sugars are safe.
They are safe.
They are within the safe range.
Yes.
What lessons have you learned out of this experience?
I have learned that we are what we eat.
Yes.
That statement is true. And of all the things we need to check in our bodies,
yes,
is what we eat.
Yes.
Because I was heavy with a huge stomach. Now it's gone. I have gone to the gym. I've used money on the gym trying to lose weight. You go to the gym, you spend an hour, then you come back and you eat 3 chapatis, you have not done anything. You've actually gained more than you have lost.
Exactly.
So everything is in the diet.
Amen.
Everything is in that. So now I check what I eat completely.
Okay.
I go to a hotel, I check what I eat.
Okay.
I go to the wedding, the buffet. I
You
know what to eat. I know the vegetable section is my friend.
And you fill your plate.
Yes.
Yes.
And I don't eat as much. And I can survive. Initially I didn't think that I could survive without that much food, but I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, dear viewers, one of the things we say in Diabetes Hope Channel is that your health is your responsibility. You must take charge of your health. And this is what Silas has done. He has taken charge of his health. He has used Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike has helped him to come out of medicine safely without guesswork and without risking his life. Silas, there are a lot of diabetics out there and they are wondering, can that be me? They're struggling with their diabetes. One, they are wondering, can I change my diet? Can I live without chapatis? And some of them are our friends, Kikuyus. Can I live without potatoes? I don't know. Do you really have a good message for them? Can you give them a message of hope?
Yeah, my message to them is that everything is doable. You can achieve anything if you set your mind to it. You just need to ask yourself, am I determined to bring my sugars down? Because the effects of having high sugars are detrimental, not only to you, but to the family and the people who love you. So that motivation, that should be motivation enough. And you can do it. Initially, I've just told you how I used to eat. You can imagine coming from the samosas, the pizzas, and all those things that I was eating to vegetables. But here I am, healthier. I go to the hospital. I am 73. I've actually gotten to where I'm supposed to be. The doctor told me to, if I can get to 70, that would be even better.
Yeah.
But I'm at 73. My sugars are okay. I'm now running from someone who's being scared of dying to somebody who is actually managing his sugars well. And I think that is motivation. You just need to, and the glucometer is very important. I even have it.
You still have it even now?
I have it. I usually check my sugars
Okay.
even now. So
Okay.
it has helped me because initially there was a confusion of what to eat and what not to eat. So you can do it if you put your mind to it and if you are determined to stay with your family, to let them see you healthy, to be healthy for them, you can do that. Yeah.
So for all practical purposes, can you say that you have reversed your diabetes?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
I am very confident. And if we would have some time, I'll come here and tell you that I have, because
Yes.
I checked my sugar in the morning, it was 5.8.
Yes.
I have taken lunch and I checked my sugar, it was 6.5. I know if I go and check now, I'll be at 5 point something. Before I go and sleep, I'm at 5.0. So
you really are within the safe range.
yeah.
So we cannot say that you're diabetic at all.
I don't.
If you actually go to a doctor who has no idea who you are, they'll look at you and they'll be able to say, there are no sugars in the blood. I don't think you are diabetic. And this is very important for us viewers to be able to understand that diabetes is simply about sugars, and it is about the food that you eat. If you eat the right foods, those sugars will come down.
I feel nice. Initially, I wouldn't even sleep.
Yes.
Nowadays, I sleep well.
Yes.
I eat healthy.
Yes.
I can sit down, eat small quantities of good food, and live a healthy life. So
You don't miss the bread, the chapatis?
initially I didn't even think I would take tea without sugar.
Yeah.
But right now you give me tea without sugar. It tastes equally good when it had sugars.
Yes.
So when I take without sugars, I didn't think I would live without the bread, but I am living without them.
Okay.
And I've not missed them
You have
since
not
January
missed them.
15.
Because you feel better, then you don't miss them.
Yes, I don't miss them.
Wow. Dear viewers, this testimony can also be yours. And we are looking forward to hearing from you one day, where you will also come to Diabetes Hope channel and be able to tell us that by listening to our lessons and by doing the things that we keep on recommending, that you too have reversed your diabetes. We look forward to hearing this story. We shall be giving you our email address so that you also can be able to contact us. And if you followed our teachings, we are sure that you too can be able to give the testimony that Silas has given. It will be such a wonderful joy to hear that you also have found hope. You have been able to reverse your diabetes, and we shall celebrate you because your sugars are very low. Thank you, Silas, for coming to be with us in this particular day, and especially for speaking to our viewers who really needed to hear that testimony. To know that one can get determined to lower their sugars, to know that it can happen, and that actually you can reverse diabetes by the diet that you take. Thank you so much, viewers, and thank you so much, Silas, for being with us. God bless you all. Kindly make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share and do a few comments. We shall be very happy to hear from you. God bless you.